Welcome into High Valley Sports Online for Joe Wallace Barons Basketball Coaches Show here from McCarthy's, Harping the Habit, Steubenville's Irish Pub, Franciscan Square on University Boulevard. I want to welcome into the beginning of the show Coach Joe Wallace and his Vice President of Basketball Operations, Tim Delaney, #1 critic of a High Valley Sports Online broadcast. Him and his wife sitting at home and criticize.
Not at all.
But we're glad we want to welcome everybody in here soon. On our next segment, we got a surprise for you. We will have our second edition of the High Valley Sports Online Baron Basketball Italian Hour.
Yep.
As we move forward with this, we'll first want to bring attention to the new hours here at McCarthy's Harping Habit, now opening an hour earlier, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock. I want to bring your attention to the gear that we got here. This is all for sale here at the Harping Habit.
Awesome.
McCarthy's Harping Habit it is. Our good buddy Chris McCarthy, want to thank him for everything he does for us. Valentine's Day special they have here running February 13th to the 16th. Make sure you call for reservations at 740-792-8080. Also, wing night every Wednesday, 6 o'clock, 75-cent wings, specials on beers and pitchers of beer, which Mr. Delaney is well aware of.
That's right. And
we got our happy hour specials Monday through Friday that Joe Wallace is barred from until the season is over, till from 2 to 5, Monday through Friday. So let's get down to business. Let's start off with our guest here, Mr. Delaney, in your position of Vice President of Basketball Operations. How do you help good Joe Wallace in the basketball or in the entire program? What do you do other than collect a paycheck?
Well, it is an unpaid position and an honorary title. Really, all I ever do is try to correct Joe, try to keep Joe from running zone defenses. That's all I ever really do.
You've done a great job with that so far.
Yeah, that's our constant conversation. Hey, if you go zone, the guy's got to wear skirts out there. That's the rule.
Joe Wallace is considered going zone.
No. But it's a running joke with us, you know.
Yeah,
We're
100%.
Because I know Joe Wallace is on that attitude that I'm on, in the fact of old school. I mean, a good man-to-man is a zone defense, right?
Yeah.
And a good zone is a man-to-man defense. So that's right from Bobby Knight and Charlie Watt's mouth. But, that's a position, as you move forward and you get to big time, that's a very, very, obviously you don't hold the prestige that the Director of Basketball Operations at Ohio State and Indiana hold, because they're going to draw a paycheck. But I know one thing you did that I love to touch on every time I see you is you were pretty influential in the trip to Austria.
Oh, yeah. That was a great trip. Put together a chance for our their ball during the season. So those guys around. I would say, Joe, I don't know what you think, but the fruits of that trip are paying off this year, this team coming together.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. This is a really connected group, as we all know. Guys that are around the program or watching games. I mean, every day of practice, it's a really tight-knit group. And you know what? We were talking about the Austria trip yesterday. I was talking with a freshman. He was like, man, that trip must have been, like, that special, because these guys, like, still talk about it every week. Like, some moment there's, like, an inside joke or an experience that happened there. And it really was. It was a first-class trip. It was ran first class. For us to be able to do something on that level was amazing.
Who was involved in that, Timmy, as they're getting that together?
Yeah, we run these trips out of our office over to Austria several times a year for our parents. Sometimes it's alumni trips. So we kind of have a good heartbeat of knowing where to go and how to move around. But for us, going in 4 days at the campus there, 3 in Salzburg, 2 in Vienna. Joe ran down a team to play that we played, and I think we hung a
that's old news now.
It is old news. But
old news.
like these guys are in the professional league over there, coming up through their lower levels. We took the guys sightseeing. We wanted them to experience life there. Definitely like Salzburg. We had a great time in Salzburg.
Is there room for that again in the future?
Yeah, we're going to do it in 3 more years. The NCAA only allows us to do it every 3 years. So this is going to be a thing that, if you're a part of this program for 4 years, you'll get to experience this trip. And we couldn't have done it without Tim. I mean,
Now, do you limit that? Do you limit that to how many kids you can take?
you cannot take freshmen, incoming freshmen, so it's going to be sophomores through. So we did it right before the semester started. We actually got back on a Monday night, and I think orientation started Thursday, so it was pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, we took 12 players of the 14 that were returners. Two guys couldn't make it, the Yonku brothers.
Yep.
So we got to try to bring those boys as guest coaches or something next time we do it.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Timmy, what do you do on a day-to-day basis to help the basketball program?
I love this. That's a good question. Really, more than anything, it's.
I mean, everyone's sitting in that front row, right? You're always sitting in the front row, I know, with the money guys up there.
If I can help Joe and those guys the most, it's helping Joe. Joe's built community around the team, and I know you've
absolutely
seen that. Up and down the valley. You've got we got Harrison Central and Weir High guys who coached with Joe, Aaron Foldy and Santangelo, Anthony Santangelo. So like trying to help bridge us further and further in the valley, and honestly garnering more and more support. Which honestly, I'd love it if it was more and more financial support behind the team. But there have been so many people local here that have been generous. This to Austria. So just trying to take care of that side of it. I'll help Joe anytime he needs it with anything. Like tomorrow's Kuzma Day.
Yes.
I'll be taking
big
care
day.
of it.
We're going to talk about that. Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit. Hank Kuzma, I mean, a legend. I mean, my first association with Hank Kuzma, 1984, I was assistant coach at Big Red, and at the sectional draw, I mean, the place used to be jammed. It's a lot different now, the way they do it, but there was every coach and assistant coach from the Eastern District in there, and I saw Hank Kuzma, knew him in passing, and you go around the room and you introduce yourself, your name and what school you're from, and it came to Hank Kuzma, and he said it very apropos. I mean, I love it. He says, Hank Kuzma, basketball junkie.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful for how I knew him and his lovely wife Kay. I mean, when you talk about Hank Kuzma, that's a little bit before my time because he got it going in the late 50s, and I became a Baron in the mid 60s. With the great teams that they have, everybody's in the Hall of Fame. I love it. I can't talk about that enough. Yeah. I mean, that was an awesome 7th and 8th grade, freshman, 6th grade time for me to see John Hawley and Alan Curry and Gary Vogelsberger and Paul Rue and Walt Osborne and Bob Hummel. Who else? Jim Garrigan. I mean, it was great. I mean, that was a great time of my life, and that's why I'm just so happy that the recruiting process came around for Joe, because that freshman team from last year gave the Barons, I believe, new life. And all you want in basketball, I mean, you want to win every game, but all you want is personnel to give you a chance to win. You know what I mean? You ain't going to win all the time, and it was an excellent. I think Adam Martello did a great job in helping out, and getting those kids come in with Sawyer Butler, but that at least gives you something to build on.
I mean, our foundation is as strong as it's ever been right now. There's a lot of young talent in this program, but going back to tomorrow, I mean, to be able to honor the legacy of Hank Kuzma. I mean, we've been doing this since he passed away,
and before. It's been
Okay.
going on since we started basketball.
And to me, it's something we have to continue to do.
Absolutely.
See, and you talk about as a basketball coach, but what he did when the program was shut down to stay on board here, to help this university continue to grow. I mean, that says a lot about him as a man and what this place, what Franciscan meant to him and Steubenville meant to him.
Oh, I mean, like
it's the truth.
I mean, he squeezed everybody for money. I mean, like, and he was the best, because I remember when I got out of coaching, I mean, just from the contacts that I had, the school system asked me, they said, don't come to school. They gave me this big board. It was like a presentation. And it was, let's build a new Harding scoreboard. We need $100,000. Now, $100,000, 20 years ago meant a lot more than it meant now. But I spent every day going to Kroger's and things to that effect, and having presentations that we made. And I asked Hank Kuzma, I said, Coach, I said, what's the key to fundraising? He said, just ask them till they say no. And I said, but I already asked them for other things. He says, always go back to the people that give, because those people are going to be straight shooters with you, and they're going to say, not this year, Raymond, next year, or whatever. But I was close with Coach Kuzma, and I love him. I love him to this day. His wife Kay. I mean, a beautiful person. Don't see her around too much anymore. Will she be there tomorrow?
No, she was planning on it originally, and she had a little ailment, so she's staying back in Florida right now. We have TJ grandsons coming in his family, and
Dave and TJ Kuzma, grandsons.
Yep.
Both of them actually went to Franciscan, so they're alums.
They're alums. Yeah, and Hank Jr. was going to come, but he is actually heading to Florida.
He had a son that played basketball at Central on one of John Neese's good teams.
Yeah, Jim.
Which one was that? Was that Jim?
Yeah.
Did he pass?
I think Jim did pass away. Yeah, young, in his maybe late 50s.
Yeah.
Just a year or two ago.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Kuzma Days tomorrow as the Barons host Grove City.
Yep.
So 3 o'clock, right, Coach?
3 o'clock tip-off tomorrow.
3 o'clock tip-off. Come on up. I'm sure they're going to have food up there. That's my special thing.
There'll be food up there.
So, there will be a nice presentation. Nice presentation for also at this time, before we let Timmy go, we talk basketball. Let's touch on the Baron Club. I mean, you got a lot of things going on there.
Let's do that.
You got Kevin Stefanski. I mean, the Baron Club is a great affair. I mean, my good friend Paul Carpelati, always well endowed up there at the university. I don't miss too many of them. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we got Kevin Stefanski, head coach of the Browns, coming, which is a real coup for us to get a sitting NFL head coach come to campus. We've got some great honorees that we're not ready to announce.
Nope.
But it'll be a fun night. Great food. We're kind of.
You don't want to announce it because I'm one of them honorees.
Oh man, you're still on the short list.
You're on the short list.
All right, man. I like it, man. I only got one shot at getting in there. You two guys. I mean, that's my only shot. Unless I got to call in the big guns and tell Paul.
Carp swings a bat. Sometimes we know you're going to be around a while, so we keep you on the short list.
There we go.
I like it. I like that technique.
Yeah.
But the Barons Club, I mean, been around. I think it used to be called the Century Club. Been around forever. Let's talk about it. You guys get any history on this?
Yeah. So it was the Century Club. It was a community fundraiser, and it was actually in about 2010 that it took a new turn. It went from kind of more Ohio Valley to even more of a national profile.
Right.
We had Jim Tressel that year, if you remember that one. And that's when it became, we were going to try to find a signature speaker. Lou Holtz has come. We had John Calipari, the Miracle on Ice hockey teams, Michael Ruzzioni for that, Neil Walker one year. So we look for people that are in the sporting world that really fit our mission and who we are.
Yep.
And that's what Kevin Stefanski is. Thursday, April 10th. Baron Club with Kevin Stefanski. All you Browns fans from the Valley, this is your opportunity.
This is your chance.
Yeah.
I feel very, very sorry for all the Browns fans in the Ohio Valley. I mean, things haven't worked out for them. But that means nothing to me as far as Kevin Stefanski, because I think he's an outstanding coach, and he's been dealt some bad hands the last couple of years with the way things has worked with him. But that's a big thing. The Barons Club, tomorrow's Kuzma's Day. You're doing a great job, man. I got to talk to your boss, man. Got to get you some more money.
That's not needed. We got to pay our coach to stick around. He's in a ninth year he's in the first year of a 10-year contract.
That's what it is. 10 years.
I like it.
It rolls over every year too. He's not going anywhere.
All right, that's going to close out our first segment here with Timmy Delaney. We'll be right back after these messages from the Harp and the Habit on Franciscan Square. We're back here as promised. Ohio Valley Sports Online, the Italian Hour. We have from Trinity Health System, Gino Taglione, Vinny DiCarvantonio, Joe Wallace, and Ray Sacoccia as we move forward. And this is Joe's real job now. Coach Wallace's real job is Director of Community Relations.
Yep.
And Trinity is right at the top as far as involvement with the university and everything that they've done. I want to thank you guys for coming in and representing Trinity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a seamless thing right now, right?
Exactly.
I mean, both of the university and the local hospital, both being Catholic, Catholic hospital, Catholic university, and we work hand in hand in a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the clinic on campus that started 2 years ago now.
Yes. Yep.
With Trinity Health Systems Field. The rink right out is Trinity. Trinity's our major sponsor for the rink at Franciscan Square. And whatever the two of us can do together makes this community better. That's that's my opening statement. And
No, for sure. But like you said, knowing both being mission-driven organizations or institutions, and beyond that, the amount of people that we are able to touch in our community.
Yes.
Both as a health system, as a university, both as employers, and the reach that we're able to have is vitally important that we are partners in this community.
Yeah.
Well, you got Bubba working up there. I mean, he's
You gotta be watching.
He's trying. This will air prior to the game on Saturday. Want to welcome everybody in. That would be Kuzma days. But Bubba working, it's his mission to hire all Catholic Central graduates.
We've done a pretty good job. I'm talking about our valet service.
There you go.
Have you heard about it?
Oh,
It recently started.
You got half my classmates.
Yeah, they're all there. Oh.
You got Timur Belladine and Tommy Bartimas and Danny Kuzakowski. My goodness gracious. It's surrounded by Crusaders, but it was a mission of the nuns. The nuns of Sylvania. I mean, I don't know what the figure was, but they left a ton of money, I guess when the hospital was bought out for the new addition, correct?
Yeah, sure. So the sisters founded the hospital where they helped out at the Gill Hospital downtown. And
I was born at the Gill Hospital.
And then they helped build St. John's in the 60s. And that their mission has continued through up until today, where we've had sisters present and still being integrated with them. Got to visit with them actually 2 years ago to spend some time with them for about a day on a pilgrimage.
Oh, that's right, you did.
It was really cool, yeah. And then also,
that's why you were returning my call.
Well, so I was on pilgrimage in Italy. That was also a really good time. Talk about Italian hour. That was impressive. My gosh.
Gino just don't return calls. Don't take it personal.
No, I don't think.
I mean, come on, man.
I don't think.
Don't say that. Cut that part.
Vinny, what you got to add about Trinity? Buddy?
No, I think you guys all kind of nailed it. I think it's super important to think about the fact that we're all like-minded here. With the same mission. And it makes it a seamless process working with folks at the university. Of course, we work a lot with Franciscan's nursing program as well. They're very involved there, and of course they do clinicals there and things of that nature. So it's always a great experience getting to work with the folks at Franciscan.
Yeah, and those relationships, in the last few years, with the university and the hospital has really taken off. And
sure has.
It's Father Dave, our president, and then Matt Grimshaw on his way out. But the two of them really connected, and this thing is really taken off. In the last 5 years, and this is the way it should be. And these things need to keep happening between both of us, and then and it spreads throughout the Steubenville community. The more that the two of us are in hand, and whatever's going on around here is massive.
I mean, Joe, in your job, dealing with the community, I mean, having a place like Trinity, makes it a little bit easier for you. You know what I mean? Because they're so willing to be involved and to help the university in every way they can. It's not like making a cold call on somebody.
No, it's the relationship with with Gino and Lori. I mean, and Jimmy Marisola, all of it, it's close. It's easy. We like it whenever we have to sit down and discuss whatever's happening next or any initiatives that are happening. We all know each other. It's more personal, and that's the way things are done around here in this community, and that's the way we want to operate too. And it just continues to advance this Steubenville community the more that the two of us are aligned. And we all firmly believe that.
Talk about a collaborative effort, making sure that we both educate and employ people locally. Keeping people here in the Ohio Valley is imperative.
It is imperative.
And talking about employing folks here, at least since I've been with Trinity in the past 3 years, it's, more and more I talk to folks at Franciscan, that are obviously not from the area that want to stay here, whether it's alumni, whether it's current students, they get ingrained into the community here.
Mhm.
I think they fall in love with the history of Steubenville. So that's always something, great to see.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot more of what you're touching on, alums moving back that maybe weren't from Steubenville, that came to school here, graduated maybe a few years ago or recently, that want to stay in this community. It's a powerful thing to see that changing. And we've talked about this. We want to see this place better for our kids and our grandkids, and that's what I want to see. This place, I'll say it as much as I can. Steubenville is one of the most unique, special, areas in this country. And the more that we can continue to help be able to employ people, that their families are here, and the culture and values continue to stay and keep growing is imperative.
Oh, the arms of Franciscan University reach long into the community, which warms my heart as we talk about having grandkids.
Yeah.
My biggest dream, I always joked, was my biggest dream was for Steubenville to be like Athens and be taken over by the university. You know what I mean? Just that be the population there, because the biggest thing that happened to Steubenville, in my opinion, was university making that decision. We talked about it many times, Joe, of coming off the hill and investing down here, and getting involved in the community and all the money. And if you can't see that, then you're not looking. I mean, you're just being narrow-minded and negative for the positive influence that the Franciscan University has had on Steubenville and its growth.
Yeah, and same thing with Trinity and the expansions they've made. We've had the two largest construction projects happening in this county in a while. Both the Trinity and the Franciscan. So I mean, it's just all great. It's all great what's happening. And the more we keep hitting on this, that we're together and moving this thing forward, this is what we want.
Yeah, that's vital.
Final statement, Gino?
No, so thanks for having us on. We should do a tie hour more often.
I love it.
We got to do something. We got too much business.
We got to relax.
This is a business show. That we are focused on business and growth and people paying their invoices. That's our focus, right?
Absolutely.
I think I just got another email right now.
Real quick though, Notre Dame, Ohio State. What do you think about Notre Dame picking that field goal? Should they've gone for it?
I don't think Notre Dame was ever in position that they should have kicked the field goal. I think my attitude going in for Notre Dame was the mere fact of Notre Dame's going to have to score points. I mean, because I felt confident that Ohio State was the better team, but it started out perfect for Notre Dame, because the way I saw the game was, I hope Notre Dame receives the ball and has a 9-minute drive and scores.
Oh, you predicted that.
And that's the way, I mean, I wish I would have had that bet, because that's the way it worked out, because I believe that was Notre Dame's opportunity, was to keep the ball away. In my opinion, they had a great defense. Their strength was their offensive line, and they could move the football and score. I didn't know if they could hold Ohio State down to the point where a field goal would have helped them. So if I'm coaching that team, I'm going for touchdowns, not field goals.
All right.
Absolutely.
With that,
I agree. I think
would have kicked the field.
I think it's going to just be interesting to see. Next year they got a lot coming back, correct? So I think a strong Notre Dame team.
well, just say, listen, it would have been better if Texas played Notre Dame, because Texas and Notre Dame have a beautiful history together of the big games that they've had. If we have another hour, I could talk on them, but we won't. But hook them. All right. For High Valley Sports Online, I want to thank Gino Taglione for number one, showing up. You know what I mean?
Come on.
And number two, for bringing my other pies on, Vinny DiCarantonio, with us. So for this segment of the Italian Hour of Joe Wallace's Baron Basketball, I want to thank you all for watching in. We'll be right back with Coach Wallace and review the season and a couple games. Thanks for watching. This is High Valley Sports Online from McCarthy's Harp and Habit Franciscan Square, Steubenville, Ohio.
Italian hour.
The Italian hour. We're back here at McCarthy's Harp and Habit, Franciscan Square. A lot of things going on down here at the square. You can see the gear here that they have for sale here at the Harp and Habit. We want to push everything we can for them because they treat us very good and they're good to the university. And the university, in my opinion, makes this whole square go. But that's just that's another part of Joe Wallace's Director of Community Relations thing. But right now, we're going to talk about basketball. And the Harp and the Habit coach, 10-7, had a tough one against St. Vincent.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that one real quick.
Yeah, I mean, St. Vincent is they're in the. I mean, we kind of look at the league right now. We got 4 teams, kind of ahead of us. St. Vincent's one of them. Grove City we have today, tomorrow, however this is going to air. Chatham and W&J. All those schools are all ranked in the top 80, 85 in the country. Chatham's in the 30s, and for us right now, we've got to be able to take a step forward and get one of these signature wins over, one of the top 4 teams in the league. And St. Vincent is ultra talented, ultra athletic, talent across the board, even coming off the bench. But our guys going to the game, we were focused. The game plan was really good. We brought a physicality to the game. We guarded our butts off. I mean, we just had stretch there in that first half where we could not finish at the rim. It was very tough. I mean, we do go through a few of those stretches throughout the year, but in a game like that against them, you can't be making mistakes and leaving points on the board like that. We just talked about Notre Dame and Ohio State, and that's kind of similar to that because we needed to make the game ugly. Not ugly, but we needed to make a defensive contest and be very opportunistic offensively. And it was really frustrating because there was 12 opportunities that were missed. You're not going to make all of them, but if we could have made half of those going into half, it's maybe a 2-point game instead of 13, and we're feeling a little bit more confident. Second half, I felt like our offense was flowing a lot better, but you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole of 13 against St. Vincent, which has firepower across the board. I mean, they've done a nice job of collection of talent. And they did a really good job defensively on how they attacked Sawyer. I mean, they were running 2 guys at him. They were really physical. That game was probably one of the most physical games this year we played in, which is usually our favor. And Sawyer's learning how to combat that. I mean, and we talked a lot about this after the game, and it's like Sawyer has to be able to understand what other teams are trying to do to take him out of the game. Because if they especially St. Vincent or Grove City tomorrow, if you can eliminate Sawyer and get him off kilter, it's going to affect the rest of the group. And he's continuing to learn that. I mean, the one thing about Sawyer, he is a competitor. He is not going to let what's happening offensively affect defensively, and he's going to keep going. And he's going to try to bust through the brick wall, but he's got to figure out, the change of speeds, what's happening in the thinking process of all of this. And we have to do a better job of helping him, and we need other guys on the floor. And that was one thing that was apparent. I understand we missed a lot of layups, but we need other guys, at the guard position to be able to handle the pressure, because we're asking Josh Zimmerman and Sawyer Butler to handle the ball against the press, score 15 to 20 some points again, guard the best 2 players on the perimeter, and there's assignments. That's a lot of pressure to be putting on guys. So I know if we want to take this step and knock off one of these teams that are ahead of us, we have to have better guys that are going to be positioned to handle the ball and take some of that responsibility off. So
I think for the most
ran on that one, but that's kind of where we're at with that.
Well, the one thing that has driven me crazy, just in watching you the past 4 or 5 years, is the fact that you have experienced those dry spells offensively because your teams played hard.
Yep.
But I think you've upgraded your personnel so much
we have.
that you can fight through those scoring droughts and make them shorter, and they don't come around as much as they used to.
Yeah, they don't.
But one thing that frustrates me, and I never liked them in my 21 years of coaching basketball at Steubenville High School. I mean, I don't want to say anything negative, but officials were just never my friend. I could say it like that, and I let them know about it. Now being out of the game,
Yeah.
For 20 years, now they're all my friends. Hey, Raymond, how you doing?
Yes.
Blah 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 blah. But you know what bothers me the most, Joe, and I don't know what it is. They beat the hell out of Sawyer Butler.
Oh, they sure do.
They beat him up.
They beat him
The
up.
poor guy. Sometimes I look at him, Joe, and he might look to you, or he just might look, and he got this look on his face like, how is that not a foul?
Exactly. We're in I've in the way.
Is that just the way it is in the
No, I'm
league?
glad you brought this up because this is something that's been on in my heart the last 2 games, really. He's one of the top players in this league, and I think he needs to have that respect, and I don't think he's been getting that.
That's a good way of putting it, man. I agree.
Right. And my relationship with the officials is more, I'm on them, but they understand, and I'm, it's a lot of talking. But I think I don't like to say these things, but someone's got to someone's got to do something about it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you telling them, because you said it perfectly. The guy deserves some respect. He's player of the year, freshman of the year.
Yeah, and the way he plays too. He does like to get contact, and guys are really trying to get. It's the last 2 games has been the way the kids get beat up, and things have to happen to help him with that. I got to help him with the officials, and his teammates need to help, with that a little bit too. Nothing dirty.
I agree.
Need to get set at time, and that's not just for him. It's the way Josh has to handle things too. And we're at that point where we don't get the respect that we deserve yet. We have to earn that, and respect is earned. We all understand that, and we have to probably take that into our hands just a little bit more right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I don't want to be a critical of the officiating.
No.
I'm just saying, I've seen enough of it, and I've seen over the years how it's changed. Where if you get fouled and you lose the ball, they give you the ball back. They make up for it, and things like that.
Exactly.
The officiating, I think, evens out. I'm just saying, it's a very good league.
Yeah.
Better than most people think.
That's way better.
And just to see Sawyer Butler, who is the juju on this team, he's getting beat up, and I think it frustrates him. I think he's to the point like, wow, what do I got to do?
Oh, he felt like that on Wednesday. He really did, and it was a frustrating night for him. But we have to do a better job of supporting that when that does happen going forward. That's all I can say.
All right, 10-7.
Yep.
What are you, Joe? I think you're 5th in the league, right?
Well, we're 6th now after Wednesday. And like we talked about, it's at the start there. Grove City, St. Vincent, W&J, and Chatham. So after tomorrow or after today, we get this big one over Grove City. We're done with them. We're done with St. Vincent. We're done with W&J. We have Chatham 1 game left, and anybody basically Geneva moved into 5th after their win all the way down. The first half of league play, we went 5-1 against, and that's massive that we have to take care of business against those teams because those were a lot of tight wins, through this home stretch.
Right.
And the Grove City is beatable. They're really good, really well coached, really physical. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the country. And they are playing with a lot of confidence right now. They kind of made some adjustments early season on how they were playing offensively. They are funky both ends of the floor. So it's going to be interesting how our guys respond to what we're doing, a little bit of tweaks to the game plan. I feel really good about it. The thing about this team is momentum has really not been one way or the other, right? You play a game, you win or lose. We are the same way those next 2 days when practice going into the next game. That's how it was yesterday. Guys were a little beat up, and then today we have practice here in a little bit. Energy's been great. They're not feeling anything after that game anymore. And the one thing we do have to take a next step is that focus needs to go to that next level, right? Our intensity's there, our physicality, our togetherness. It's just that focus needs to get to that next level to be able to knock off a Grove City. They have a lot of seniors. They've been together for a long time. They run a system. So we have to be putting them on their heels more, right? We are going to be in attack mode tomorrow on both ends of the floor. We have to play that way against a Grove City. and we have to make them feel the pressure, especially on the defense end. Yep.
I like what you're saying, Coach. We'll be there, High Valley Sports Online. This broadcast will go right before the game tomorrow. Tip-off Kuzma Days.
Yep.
At Finnegan Fieldhouse on Hank Kuzma Court, 3 o'clock. Before we go anywhere, I want to make sure I make a public apology to Coach Joe Wallace because I got several texts from him in the last game that I did in his win over Westminster. I criticized, or I questioned. I didn't criticize.
It was a question.
I questioned his matchup, but Carl Yonku, I mean, he picked his pocket.
That play won us that. I mean, Josh won us the game, but we do not win that game if Carl does not make that play.
Absolutely, and that was on air on the broadcast. I said, I do not like this matchup, and bang, quick hand stole the ball. So I will promise you this, I will never bring into question any more of Joe Wallace's, even though sometimes I believe I'm smarter and he should do what I want him to do. You know, he's the coach, and that's what we go by. We get behind the coach, and we move forward. So for Timmy Delaney and Gino Taglione, Vinny DiCarantonio, Joe Wallace, Danny Vogel, and for everybody here at High Valley Sports Online, thanks for watching. Go Barons.
Go Barons.